Gwynoro Jones, very Welsh name. Was it an easy name to explain to peers in school?
Always was a problem all my life. Not so much when I was in primary school, and in the village, everybody knew it. But when now my horizons slowly, gradually widened, got to Gwendraeth, and you ended up in school, and even though it was 1956, 57, only about half a dozen people you knew. So everybody else, small grammar school, 400, 500, everybody else was totally new, like a new world. Like going to London these days, going to Gwendraeth was a new world. And the same later in 62 when I went to university. Well, that's like was going to Paris, when you were going to Cardiff in 1960s. Anyway, but I'll come to it with a name very quickly. Should have been the other way around, by the way. I should have been Glyndwr Gwynoro. That's what my father wanted, apparently. But he didn't register my birth. The job was given to my grandmother, because my mother was not too well after the home birth, and my father had to go to work. He wouldn't miss anything for work. Registering his kid wasn't important enough for him to lose his work, especially if he meant a double shift. So he entrusted his mother-in-law to do it. But she, of course, didn't like Glyndwr Gwynoro. She preferred Gwynoro Glyndwr. And that's how it was registered. And when he found that out, there was quite a little argument, apparently, between the two of them. But if I had to vote, I would have voted with my grandmother, because it does scan and rhyme a bit better than the other way around, in my judgment. But it was named after a preacher we had at home, Cynhadon Hedd, the Methodist Giant Calvinaidd, 1912. The big preachers of the Methodists in Wales, 1912. A big picture, probably 2x3 or something, with about 100 photos, pen photos of all these ministers. And in the middle of them was this preacher from Pencader, Gwynoro Davies. That's what I was named after. Later in life, when I became a parliamentary candidate, I was informed by the Daily Express, can you believe that? They rang me up and they asked me, why is somebody with such a Welsh name standing against the leader of Plaid Cymru? And do you know that your name is in the Life and Times of St David book? I was working then for the Wales Custom in Cardiff, 1967. So off I went some lunchtime to the Central Library in Cardiff, and there was this little book, not much bigger than one of the booklets that I had prepared. And there it was. He was one of the 5 saints of Wales, Gwynoro, right? But of course, I wasn't Gwynoro when I was young, I was Gwynofo. Because I couldn't say the R. Gwynofo, or Fredeg, or running. Wherever there was an R, I couldn't do it. Yeah, in good company, mind. Roy Jenkins and Irene Bevan, a lot of other famous people couldn't say the R. Now that was okay in primary school. What's your name? Gwynoro Jones. Now, when I started going to secondary school, to the grammar school, and now we were with new people, I was embarrassed about it, really, really embarrassed. So one day, one of the teachers said, look, we need to get you to a speech therapist. And there was this lady from Abbotsford who used to come to Gwendraeth about once a fortnight for an hour to give me speech therapy on how to try and say the R, and certainly stop doing the Gwynofo bit, turn the R into a bit. So she had me doing tr, tr, tr. Now when I started for 6 months, it was tl. But eventually it started clicking, and then I could camouflage the fact. And that's, I've always admired the Welsh people who can say the R strongly. I've asked a lot of people, go on, say it the way it should be said, Rhandir Moyn, wasn't it? And you can say it with the R's rolling. Well, I can't do that. I can only just pretend R, really. So the name was a problem, and it made me shy on occasions. It was difficult to imagine, but it did. And far worse in university. Now I was with, not Welsh people now, English people. You know, when they couldn't understand what the heck was a Gwyn, they could understand. But Gwynoro, well, they had no idea. Then I used to tell them, which is quite true, it's Latin, white gold. You know, it's called Latin, white gold. Anyway, so there's the name.